Hi, I've made a video dedicated to relinking methods in DaVinci Resolve, but I thought I'd share a few tips on how to avoid having linking issues to begin with, or how you can avoid disconnecting the media in your project after you shut it down. So the first thing I would urge you to do is to keep all of your media in the same place as you work on it. So either all of it on your computer or all of it on the same drive. If you start saving different files in different locations, especially if you're downloading additional media files as you work on your project and you start leaving some of them in your downloads folder and some of them on your computer and others external, that increases the potential issues you might have if you then decide to migrate your project onto another workstation. This is especially true for things like fonts and plugins. So what I always do is, as soon as I download something that I'm going to be using in a video, I immediately pop it into my assets folder, and that way I know, even if I start moving around, everything will always reconnect if I open up the project elsewhere. The next thing I'd recommend is to avoid moving stuff around after you've already started working on a project. So I've stressed the importance of housekeeping before, but if you plan on doing that, then you should really do it before you start the project. Don't start tidying things up afterwards because, again, that could create more issues than it's worth. Of course, you can always reconnect these lost connections in DaVinci Resolve, but if you want to avoid constantly seeing the media offline symbol whenever you log into your projects, then stop making small changes to the names of your folders and your files. Speaking of which, avoid renaming your video files as well, because this is what the software uses to locate them on your drive. So, as odd as it sounds, you're better off with a bunch of video clips that share the same name but have unique folder locations than you are with clips that have been renamed after you've already imported the media into DaVinci Resolve. As soon as that name change occurs on your computer, then the connection will be lost. And it will be really difficult to reestablish unless you go through each file individually and start changing the source folder and indicating the new name. For that, you're recommended to use the display name column in the column view of the media pool. Here you can rename your video files to your heart's content and it will in no way impact the connection. If you've already made the mistake of renaming your files after importing them into DaVinci Resolve, I'm afraid to say there's not really a quick solution to that. You will have to rename all of your files back to their original names. The next one is not relevant to all computers and operating systems, but I still see it every now and then, and it's a good rule of thumb to follow. Try to always use the same USB port when connecting an external drive to a computer. So I'll sometimes notice that my drive pops up under a different volume letter if I've plugged something else into the computer first, in which case I then have to select all of my footage and change the volume letter that it's sourcing. It simplifies things a little bit to always plug them in the same order and into the same USB ports. If you've lost a connection in some clips and you're trying to relink them using the fairly automated Relink Selected Clips option, and you find that the drive is not appearing in your list of source folders, it's possible that you've somehow lost permission to write on the drive. So check to make sure that it's not write protected and it's not incompatible with your OS. So I've sometimes seen this issue when people have either copied or cloned their drive across to a new drive and find that they can no longer access their media. A reformatting of the drive is then usually required. If you've transcoded a series of heavy video files in preparation for a proxy workflow with the intention of then disconnecting those files and reconnecting them to the original source video materials, make sure that you always stick to the same naming convention down to the container name to ensure that after you want to reconnect to the original footage, all you have to do is change your source folder and indicate where your original footage is hiding. From then on, DaVinci should be able to reconnect your media using the higher quality clips. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.